In September 2019, local residents in Sydney of Australia watched a performance given by a group of Chinese youngsters wearing Hanfu, China's traditional clothing style. They sang songs and played ziza and pipa to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the founding of People's Republic of China. You see, Chinese traditional cultures have traveled all the way from China to the other side of the world. In the 21st century, China is an active member of the global village, and China's cooperation with other countries have become deeper and more comprehensive. However, in its communication with the outside world, China has undergone a tough and turbulent path to achieve today's role and position on the global stage. In this section, we'll trace back the history to listen to the footsteps of travelers on the Asian Silk Road, keep track with China's faster pace emerging into the global village, and look into the bright future of China's cooperation with its international partners. More than 2,100 years ago, Zhang Qian, an outstanding envoy and explorer of the Han Dynasty, opened up the Asian Silk Road. The Silk Road served as an exchange bridge for trade, culture, and religions between China, Central Asia, Western Asia, and Europe. The Silk Road was a significant trade route that has connected East and West for 2,000 years. More than 500 years ago, Zheng He, a successful Chinese mariner, explorer, and diplomat during China's Ming Dynasty, set out on his voyages to Southeast Asia, Western Asia, and East Africa. His expedition extended further, and he brought back information about more far-off countries. It seems that China could have started making friends with many countries at that time. However, from that time on to the first half of the 20th century, China was reduced to poverty and weakness, threatened by domestic strife and foreign aggression. It was after the founding of the PRC that China was able to conduct economic, trade, and cultural exchanges with other countries. Since reform and opening up in 1978, China has been seeking development with its door open. Now the country has entered a new era of development, and the world is paying even greater attention to this old friend. China has contributed its Chinese wisdom to world peace and development. In the 1950s, China, India, and Myanmar jointly proposed the 5 principles of peaceful coexistence. These principles were broadened and recognized by many countries in Bandung Conference in 1955. They marked the maturity of China's diplomatic policy. In recent decades, China's international position and influence have greatly improved. In 1971, China recovered its legitimate seat in the United Nations against all obstacles and delivered China's voice on the global stage for the first time. Since then, China began to play a more active role in international affairs. In 1980, China recovered its legitimate seats in the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. In 2001, China joined the World Trade Organization and began to participate more extensively and deeply in international economic and trade exchanges. China is making more friends in the international community. By October 2019, it has established diplomatic relations with 180 countries and 110 partnerships of various types. Since 2013, China has proposed a global community of shared future and the Belt and Road Initiative, which have been written into many UN resolutions and have won extensive recognition and a warm response from the international community.
The Belt and Road Initiative, first proposed by Chinese President Xi Jinping in 2013, has evolved into a transcontinental trade and infrastructure network covering the Eurasian continent, Africa, Latin America and the Caribbean, and the South Pacific region. Its reach extends to some 4.4 billion people, that's about 65% of the world's population. Made up of an overland belt, the Silk Road Economic Belt, spanning Central and Southern Asia and Europe, and a maritime road, the 21st century Maritime Silk Road of shipping lanes reaching all the way to Africa and the Mediterranean, the Belt and Road Initiative aims to boost economic prosperity through international cooperation on a scale never seen before.
In terms of economy, China is the biggest contributor to world economic growth now. It has now become the world's second largest economy, taking care of the material needs of its 1.4 billion people, and achieved moderate all-round prosperity. This represents a significant contribution on China's part to world peace and development. From 2013 to 2019, China contributed about 30% of world economic growth on average. Estimates show that without China, the average annual growth rate of the world economy from 2013 to 2016 could have slowed by 0.6 percentage points, and the intensity of fluctuation would have increased by 5.2%. According to a report released by the McKinsey Global Institute, the aggregate index of the world's exposure to China's economy gradually rose from 0.4 to 1.2 between 2000 and 2017, with China accounting for about 30% of global manufacturing output. China's scientific and technological innovations have injected new momentum into world economic growth. In recent years, investment in the field of science and technology in China has been increasing, and major scientific and technological innovations have emerged. According to the Global Innovation Index released by the World Intellectual Property Organization, China continued its rise in 2019, moving from the 17th in 2018 to the 14th. It is the only middle-income economy in the top 20. In the field of high technology, China is catching up and getting ahead. Quantum communications, supercomputing, aerospace, artificial intelligence, fifth-generation mobile network technology, mobile payment, new energy vehicles, high-speed rail, and financial technology are sectors in which China leads the world. China's innovation in science and technology have been widely applied, bringing more convenience to people's work and daily life. China's foreign trade has been increasing constantly. In 2009, China became the world's largest exporter of goods and third largest importer of goods. In 2013, China became the world's largest trader in goods. Since reform and opening up in 1978, foreign investment in China has seen a substantial increase, and China has become very attractive to global investment. China has become the world's second largest economy, largest manufacturer, largest trader in goods, second largest consumer of commodities, and largest holder of foreign exchange reserves. Human civilization should be open and inclusive and based on equality and diversity. In its cultural exchanges with the outside world, China has combined the policies of bringing in and going out. China has conducted a large scale of international cultural activities and has brought in splendid international cultures to enrich our national culture. Beijing has become the first country in the world to hold both Summer and Winter Olympics, and the latter will be held in 2022. Nanjing has held Youth Olympic Games in 2014. Shanghai has held the World Exposition in 2010.
While the more it is trodden, the faster it grows, yet youth, the more it is wasted, the sooner it wears.
Oh, Jesus, this is excellent sport.
In 2016, to celebrate the 400th anniversary of Shakespeare's death, British Royal Shakespeare Company brought the spectacular classical plays of Henry IV and Harry V to China, presenting the top performance of Shakespeare's plays to Chinese audience. In 2003, Riverdance, the world-famous Irish tap dance, embarked on their first Chinese tour and thrilled their Chinese audience. They even performed twice for China's Spring Festival Gala. In 2019, the Mariinsky Orchestra, one of the oldest orchestras in Russia, performed the Wagner's Parsifal at China's National Center for the Performing Arts, directed by the world-renowned music director Valery Gergiev. More and more foreigners are coming to study, work, and travel in China. In 2018, almost 500,000 foreign students came to study in China. They come from 196 countries, and many of them are from the Belt and Road Initiative participant countries. Remember Thak Salik, a baby-faced Cambodian boy who worked as a street hawker to sell local souvenirs to foreign guests. In order to survive, he did not have much time to go to school, but has learned at least 15 languages by himself to sell more goods.
You buy from me one, mister. You buy? I'm in love with your body. Last night you were in my room. On number basis, smell like you. Every day discovering something brand new. I'm in love with the shape of you. I do like that. He said, "Ooh, you can sing a song very good. Okay, I buy for you one or something."
In 2019, the 15-year-old boy has got a chance to come to China and is now studying in China, sponsored by a school in Zhejiang province. China's going out makes in great strides. From government cooperation to people exchanges, China has been conducting all-dimensional and multi-level exchanges and cooperation with other countries. In January 2020, an art show of Dunhuang culture entitled A Gift from China, a dream lasting for thousands of years, gave its first exhibition to a Russian audience in Moscow. Thanks to the new technology, Russian audience were able to appreciate Dunhuang art from a new perspective. Do you know Yunnan Baiyao? Chinese medicine and medication has started its journey to Southeast Asia, Europe, and Africa, and helped cure diseases with Eastern wisdom. Many foreigners now get quite familiar with Chinese herbal medicine and acupuncture. In recent years, Chinese traditional music has traveled all the way to North America, Europe, and other areas of the world, presenting the classical performance of masterpieces of Chinese composers, such as Butterfly Lovers and Colorful Clouds, etc. Their performance has won praise for their creative and excellent combination of Eastern and Western music styles. In 2019, a Chinese vlogger, Li Ziqi, has gone viral, not just in China but worldwide. Her short videos show the tranquil rural life in Sichuan province, in southeast of China. She made everything from scratch by hand, from cooking traditional Chinese cuisine and making traditional Chinese lipstick, to embroidery and cloth making. She even built a sofa from bamboo. She is now the most famous Chinese storyteller on the internet, attracting more than 23 million fans on Chinese social media and about 10 million followers from YouTube. Her videos enable people to indulge in a fairy tale world and traditional Chinese pastoral life which contemporary people strive for. And her deep love for her grandma was conveyed in her every single video. Using traditional ingredients and tools, she presented Chinese traditional cultures from a unique perspective. We believe that in the future, more and more exciting and everlasting elements of China and Chinese cultures, just like this course, will have a chance to travel to other parts of the world. Looking back at the great achievements and frustrations China has experienced in its cooperation with outside world, this old and vibrant country will embrace the world in a more open and inclusive manner. China is looking forward to learning from other cultures, cooperating and building harmonious coexistence with other countries. Long distance separates no bosom friends. In the spring of 2020, in the fighting against the COVID-19, China has received help from many countries like Pakistan, Japan, the Czech Republic, South Korea, and Mongolia. As the old Chinese saying goes, she gives me a peach and I give her a white jade in return. China will never forget her good friends. When the World Health Organization declared the outbreak of COVID-19 in March of 2020, and the epidemic was spreading around the world, China has cooperated with WHO and has sent medical troops and supplies to aid contagion-affected countries. They expressed their feelings towards China in different ways. Up to 2020, there will be more than 200 million Chinese learners from the whole world, hoping to have a dialogue with China. Want to know more about the Chinese language? Please follow us to the next chapter. This is the end of Chapter 1. If you have any questions, please contact us and leave a message.